Today's top stories at NBR. Liquidators trace stolen Bitcoin and Ethereum. Financial advisors' new firm's transitional license cancelled. Tend Health buys 2 GP practices. And there's more coming right up. Kia ora and welcome to NBR Today, a wrap of the day's top business stories from the authority in New Zealand business news since 1970, nbr.co.nz. It's Monday, December 13th. I'm Paul Brennan. Thanks again for joining us. New Kiwi Rail chair David McLean and whoever is appointed the next chief executive have a big challenge ahead of them convincing the Treasury that the state-owned enterprise can be profitable. In a paper to Finance Minister Grant Robertson on August 4th, obtained by NBR under the Official Information Act, the Treasury said the change in accounting treatment of the below-rail funding had a significant impact on Kiwi Rail's estimate of its commercial value. It had changed from a negative $3.036 billion to negative $172 million, an increase in value of $2.864 billion. But there is still a question of if and when Kiwi Rail's above-rail operations will become profitable. The Treasury is withholding its judgment for the moment. In its latest statement of corporate intent for the 2022-24 period, the rail company itself is making no promises. Liquidators of failed cryptocurrency exchange Cryptopia have traced stolen Bitcoin and Ethereum to accounts at 4 exchanges in the US, where they've won court orders requiring information disclosure. Christchurch-based Cryptopia provided trading services mainly to overseas customers, but failed in 2019 after its accounts were hacked and significant quantities of crypto assets stolen. In their latest report, liquidators David Rusco and Malcolm Moore of Grant Thornton said tracing exercises had been completed on stolen funds and recovery actions had been filed in the US, Malaysia and Singapore. NZ Superfund's hotel investment joint venture has purchased QT Auckland for an undisclosed sum, adding a 6th asset to its portfolio. NZ Hotel Holdings was started by Russell Property Group and Lockwood Property Group, and NZ Superfund joined the fray in late 2019. QT Auckland in the Viaduct Harbour area opened in late 2020 and was redeveloped from an office building by Russell Property Group and Lockwood Property Group before being sold into NZ Hotel Holdings. Russell Group manages the joint venture's investments. A financial advisor who stole $36,000 from his former employer and falsely held himself out as an authorised financial advisor has had his new firm's transitional licence cancelled by the Financial Markets Authority. It's the first time the FMA has cancelled a financial advice provider licence. The regulator said today, Monday, it had cancelled the licence for Wisdom House Investment Partners, operated by Ewan Paul Liu, after its sole financial advisor had engaged in serious misconduct at his previous employer. That misconduct related to Liu's time at Wellington-based financial services firm Foxplan. FMA Director of Supervision James Greig said any misconduct which undermined trust in the financial advice sector needed to be held to account. Auckland-based digital-first healthcare provider Tend Health has bought 2 GP practices following a $15 million capital raise at the start of the year. Founded in late 2020 by serial entrepreneurs Celia and James Robinson, Dr. Mataroria Linden and former Pushpay executive John Robb, Tend allows patients to make appointments and have online video consultations with doctors and nurses through an app outside of typical GP hours. The company raised $15 million in January in a round including then Infratil Chief Executive Marko Bodziewski, which it planned to put towards buying medical centres. This morning, Monday morning, Tend has announced the purchase of the Simon Street Medical Centre and Pakuranga Medical Centres in central and east Auckland for an undisclosed price. A government proposal to allow 600 tech workers into the country next year under a class exception to COVID border restrictions is a much-needed temporary fix, but only part of the solution to a sector skills shortage, according to the advisory council behind software-focused industry group Kiwi SAS. The council's spokesperson and former chair and CEO of Pushpay, Bruce Gordon, said the country's talent problem is more complex than issuing a few more visas. The move follows a further 290 border exceptions approved over the weekend for agricultural workers. In a statement, Digital Economy and Communications Minister David Clark said the class exception for tech workers would relieve some pressure on tech companies. The full details of those stories and more are at nbr.co.nz right now. Tomorrow at NBR, in this week's Margin Call, Nicholas Bagnall looks at EVS and how a flood of capital is affecting EV companies. And Brent Edwards does an exit interview with Reserve Bank Deputy Governor Jeff Biscand. I'm Paul Brennan. I look forward to being with you again tomorrow from around lunchtime for the morning's NBR trending stories. Then same time, same place, again right here from 5:30 tomorrow for another NBR Today.